There we go. Sorry, excuse me. Sorry about that. So hopefully the volume is good. There you go. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. I don't know what happened. Something happened with one of the source settings and it reset. So, but here we are. So, good morning. Um, Happy Saturday. I've already been to my job and just been back at the house probably about 10 minutes. So, um, I wanted to kind of get this out. I started. I think I said that I was going to try to do this yesterday, but didn't really have an opportunity to do it. Not the way that I would have wanted. Let's see if I can. Um, there we go. There we go. I'll make a cameo today. So, yeah, you can tell already. I'm comfortable. So, got my Star Wars apparel back there, but this thing is gonna get a lot of use today. So, it is a sim racing Saturday. So, I've got my nostalgic Alfa Romeo T-shirt on. So, but you're not here for that. We're not. We can get into that, but so let's go over this week, right? We could start if you want. We could start with the accounts. Um, so I'll start with my combine. I don't mind. Like I said, I don't mind showing this kind of stuff. So combine total 16,086.66 cents. Um, we're running about a 56% win rate. Best day trade is at 77.6. That I'm gonna actually have to get down to 50 because that's a criteria for the combines. I know it might be plus or minus or give or take like a percentage or two. I think when I passed my first combine, I think I might have been at like 51 and something, like 51 point something. So they didn't hold it against me, but 77 is pretty. There's an extreme disparity, but that's because I had that one monster day, which actually was a week ago from yesterday. It was like 13. Yeah. So 13,009.40 cents. But overall, we've kind of tailored it back. We've had some losses. I'm just going to scroll down and I'll show you. So this week by itself, $13,003.20. So that was the week, and I know, and this is why. But I did say, hey, after Tuesday, I'm done, right? And I did this number on a previous stream, and then ultimately, what did I do? I said, let's try Globex for Wednesday. So yeah, buck 82, 80, and then 207.80. Wednesday, Thursday turned out to be losses. Now, this isn't really going to be about me, but I'm going to make this about us because as I've said many times on this channel, through many different streams, through many different recordings, that this is I'm kind of giving people insight into like my journey, not my lifestyle. Like if you notice, I don't do lifestyle videos. I honestly think that there are more than enough people that are out there that can, do like the videographer crews and sets and all of that shit. Like I'm not about that, right? Maybe if you guys say, hey, you'd be interested, I might give you a snapshot and a glimpse. I don't think that I'm all that exciting or whatever to where people are going to be like, ooh, what's he doing when he's off the chart? I don't put myself there. But the point that this might be related and relative to everyone is I can look at this and I can see a consistent thing, right? Over 2 weeks. I could see that last week, albeit $20, we know what that was about, right? So last Monday, profitable. Tuesday, didn't do anything. Wednesday, Thursday were losses. Last Friday, profitable. Go into this week, Monday, Tuesday, profitable. Wednesday, Thursday, losses. Friday, profitable. Now, someone could assume, hey, it looks like there may be a pattern forming. So, Wednesday, Thursday, not really my best days. So, what does that mean potentially, or what could that potentially mean for you? It could just simply mean that when you're recognizing maybe certain traits or maybe patterns, certain characteristics of price delivery on specific days, you kind of go back and reassess. Now, I know this week what I did was I didn't second guess, but I was like drilling down, like really drilling down in price. So the way, like, how somebody, people always say you can learn from your losses, you can learn from mistakes. Well, I'm going to show you that basically if you look at last week, my loss last week on Wednesday was 281.20. Thursday, it was 664.14, right? Now, when I say like this week, and I wasn't thinking of, oh, last Wednesday I lost, let me see. I was literally throughout the week trying to figure out, okay, well, what am I'm missing something. I'm not doing something. So even though I lost the same 2 days this week that I lost last week, I lost less, which means my risk management was tighter, one, and there was something else that happened. And it's literally spelled out on on all 4 of these days. Last Wednesday, I took 4 trades. Thursday, I took 4 trades. This Wednesday, I took 1. This Thursday, I took 1. So it was about risk management. And then if it just doesn't make sense, or if you're not seeing it, just be done. So that, I think, in and of itself, like, those are like the small, like really small nuggets that can basically stick and stay with you. I don't want to necessarily take everybody through like all of the price action. Oh, okay. I've got it toggled to regular trade hours. I'm like, where's the rest of the price action here? So we can extend this back out. So let's see. How do I want to do this with annotation and everything? Let's see. Let's just turn this off for right now. And we'll start on a day. We'll go out to the daily. Start off the daily. Because for me, the daily, it's like daily and weekly. This will kind of, I talk a lot about a weekly profile, right? Consistently talking about weekly profile. And one of the things that kind of helps, and this will also help sometimes maybe frame your internal and external liquidity. There's another reason why I wanted to come out to the daily and I wanted to show you something, but let's start with this week specifically. I'll try not to make this too long, but at the same time, give some reasoning and some context, just some thoughts to provoke. I'm not giving you financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but just sharing information for anybody that cares. All right, so let's see. So Monday, okay. Let's go back to Monday. MNQ, NQ, NQ. But it'll function the same. It will function the same. And let me move my big head out the way so you could see. So last Monday, if you're looking at the previous week, this was Friday's candle. We actually closed below, so we still wouldn't have known whether or not we were dealing with a Monday low of the week. Tuesday was going to take out Monday low, etc. We just didn't know. Okay. When we rolled into Tuesday, My expectation, and I think I had a video earlier in the week where I was expecting shorts. I think even last week Outlook, I said I'm short, like I'm looking for shorts. I'm looking for continued shorts. And when I get finished with this on the daily, I'm gonna show you why in my mind I was like short. I said earlier in the week I have to see, or we should wait and see what Wednesday is going to do, because what I was thinking was we had Monday take out Friday. When Tuesday swept out Tuesday and it closed back, basically it closed back inside. When I was saying, hey, let's wait and see what Wednesday does, my initial expectation was Wednesday's going to take Tuesday. Why? We're already in fair value from the previous week. And if Wednesday just sticks its head above, the Wednesday high just comes just above Tuesday, it satisfies a internal range liquidity run. Because think of it this way. I don't want to make this complicated. Think about it this way. Think about Friday, Monday opens, right? Monday opens and we run external range liquidity, right? We run the sell side. So when we close on Monday, Tuesday opens, Tuesday clears again, internal, comes down, and then it closes inside. So even though it closes internally, it didn't sweep out. So we haven't taken external, if you will, external range liquidity. My whole thing was, okay, well, if we haven't done that, that was the context. That was my thought process. We haven't come back to take external liquidity, which is why I said, okay, let's see what Wednesday does. If Wednesday just pierces Tuesday's high or just takes that internal range or that buy side liquidity, I was thinking we're going to close back down and we'll take out Monday and then we'll run. I'm glad that nobody listens to me and I'm not a financial advisor. Because essentially Wednesday has created basically an inversion on the daily, and then we saw where it had actually reached back up into another area of fair value, which subsequently Thursday has wicked through, and Friday actually closed above. So now you could be saying, I wonder what he's looking for this week. Can you guess? Do you have any idea what it might be? I'm still short. I'm still short. And this is why I'm short. If you just look at this price action, and I'm not drawing any trend lines or any of that, none of that. The people that can do it, I applaud you. I respect the hell out of you. If it works for you, great. And it might be a simplified way of looking at the market. So I'm not going to do that. However, what I am going to do is just looking at this delivery, it's clear to me. I think we were bearish. Wait, I need to pull this out so I can see your comment. Still bearish Friday. Oh, yeah. Well, I can see that, and yeah, I do still think that there are more shorts to come, and I think between Wednesday and Friday to some degree, I'm trying to remember who it was. It might have been on Topstep TV. I'm trying to remember. There are a couple people that I listen to. I don't listen to too many, but I can't remember who was on the show. I know that they were making jokes, like somebody alluded to the fact like, hey, NQ is they equated it to a child acting up, and they were like, oh, well, NQ finally got its act together because we were going long. And I was kind of doing my own thing, but Yeah, I would agree with the squeeze. I think that it was more or less, a rally back into basically the way I interpret it, the way I'm looking at it as, this could be engulfing. It could be an order block. I was looking at it more or less from an order block perspective of that's what we move back up into, but there's still like this is just short to me, right? Um I don't know any other way to say it. Like I know there are a lot of people that will, elaborate and go into like these lengthy, algorithmic statistic whatever and hey liquidated, what's going on? How you doing? Yeah, I just like I said, I'm not disparaging what they are their analysis was, but I just always find that kind of stuff funny. Where did my chat go? There you go. Trading week was actually pretty good. Managed risk, which was good. Probably about another 13, 1400 off of knocking that combine out. Um, the weird thing is, and I'm transparent enough, like even if I go back into like the practice account, I passed two practice accounts if it for whatever that's worth, but just like kind of looking at setups on the days where I really wasn't supposed to be trading. But the crazy thing was I took those losses on my combine account on Wednesday and Thursday. I actually passed another practice account on Wednesday, just looking at a couple of different things. It just didn't pan out, in the evening session. So you've been documenting your excellent. How was your week? How was your week, liquidated? Because that's I that's one of the things that um I don't necessarily. Oh, I appreciate you, man. Thank you. Yeah, the um live journaling, I think it helps when at least and from my personal perspective, the way I look at it is I don't 14K 2 day. Good grief. Hell yeah, man. Fucking congrats. Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, I like the video journal and the documentation. I still do like I'll still whip out a pad and pen and I'll write out, what the position was and everything. I just think that it's not. I don't process it for like fanfare, right? Which is why I think some of the videos I know the one from Friday. I know it was it was like 2 hours long, but I feel like I don't want to edit those videos. Like maybe I need to just like fast forward them if people are trying to get through the content. But I do it maybe for somebody else. Like I'll listen to music. I don't listen to other people, but I'll listen to music and then I'll watch price. Somebody else might be looking for a particular day, or if say whatever time that I tell whomever I'm trading, or you look at a video and you're like, oh, he traded this time to this time, and they go back and they look at their chart. It's not to say that my what I do is right. It just simply means this is what I saw, and then you can go back and say, well, this is what I saw. It's just to help. It's to help other people see where maybe they're missing something, and it's not so much that I'm going to point that out, but you just get a different perspective. That's all. How long have I been trading? This year will be 6 years. Actually, today is the 18th. So officially six on the 14th of this month. 6 years. Yeah. 2K on 2 micros this week. No, listen, Mr. Cage. Anytime you can extract any type of profit and you can hold on to it, that's doing something. Let me go back and I'm going to show you something. You see this day here on the 6th of January? You might not be able to see it. It's small as shit. I'm sorry. $19.40. I'm like, anytime you can put yourself in a situation where you can be profitable, you're gonna be in good standing. What about? I don't know why it won't show me. Hang on, let me see if I can. Because it's cutting off a portion of the chat message, and it's irritating. That's why I keep sticking my head. I know you're probably like, why is he's in front of the camera? Why is he dodging the camera? Because I'm just trying to see the corner, and it won't show me the corner of this chat. Give me 1 sec. Yeah, no problem, man. Yeah, just don't ever feel like, and that's, I'll just share this with you. There's some people on I'll just say that there's some people on this there it goes. Perfect. There's some people on the platform that will like make excuses, and they'll say different things about positions and how they trade, what their perspective is on losses or whatever. And there's a lot of it out there. Like, somebody saying they made 1,000, they made 10,000, somebody made 120,000. And it's like, we're all at different levels. I still feel like it doesn't matter how long I've been doing it. And I've been transparent about that. 6 years, but if somebody asked me, hey, how long have you been profitable? If I'm honest, I say maybe about 1.5 years. Because there ebbs and flows. Everybody's at a different threshold. And when I was profitable early, it wasn't like a whole lot. It really wasn't. And I just kind of always feel like that's probably one of the biggest hurdles, especially in this space, because I post for I feel like I post for different reasons. I post for my own journaling purposes. I also post that I keep myself accountable, because we can always forget. But, I don't know if any of you guys have ever practiced jiu-jitsu, but one of my jiu-jitsu mentors was Renzo Gracie. And he would always use like a reference. He'd say something like, whatever it was, it's like X doesn't lie. So he'd be like, the technique doesn't lie. So you can lie when you write in your journal. You could type something out electronically and say you did this when you did something else. The video doesn't lie. So yeah, I could record my videos and house them here, but what better place? Like, this is just how I think. What better place to put it? You can put it out in the public YouTube ethosphere. And it's not that you're looking for critics to critique you. It's not really anyone else. it's where you have to, at some point, go back and you'll see it. So if somebody calls you on it and says, hey, no, you said this, but this is what happened, you can't refute it. It's like it's there, right? Unless you just don't upload it, and then you're lying to yourself. So I know you didn't ask. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like the fake gurus and all of that crap. Like, what's the? I know what the point is. It's like you want to extort people, but if you're doing it, in the end, it'll show. But it's really not a clout thing. It's never been. It's never been that for me. So I think I'm just too ordinary. Um, Watch my yeah, and Liquidated already said it. Helps me when I can go back and watch my lives to re-examine why I took a trade. Absolutely. If you're following your rules, if you break one of your rules, if you think, but that's one of the reasons why even I'll live trade the practice account. And even if I'm not trying to break, but if I think I see something else, like, we just see how that works out. Either it does or it doesn't. So yeah, just here, like I said, I would be really cautious and careful just within where we are in price. But I'm looking for shorts. I would be looking for shorts. Now, I'll go down to, usually I'd stop at the 4. I'm not going to go to the 4. I'm going to go all the way down to the 5-minute. And you'll actually see, because I spent some time yesterday. Like I said, I wanted to do this yesterday, but I didn't. But what I did do was I kind of just established like what my framework was and what I'm looking at and looking for. I will have to ask you to disregard the green horizontal ray for now. I don't know that I want to talk about that just yet, but I think I've been working through a couple of things. I've been working through a couple of areas in price that seem to show. I don't want to say they're showing a specific pattern, but there's something that routinely happens literally like throughout the day. It doesn't mean you have to sit at the chart throughout the day. You could literally go about your business. Like, there's certain times, and I know we probably have all heard like the whole time and price thing. We've all heard that. This is related to that, but this is something a little bit different, but it sometimes gives you the understanding that if you wanted to trade like Globex or Asia or London, they sometimes give you like a key as to where price might reach, what, area might show or might produce an inefficiency, where order block may for, like, there's certain things. So I'm still working that out. And then once I feel comfortable enough with the data collection, and I can say, not definitively, but I could say with a reasonable amount of certainty, like, I'll talk about that. But that aside, this is actually just yesterday. I mark out, if you're not familiar with why I have like 9 million John Madden rays and crap on my chart. There's certain areas that I just mark out, irregardless of anything else. It doesn't matter if it's high impact news. It doesn't matter. I always mark out my initial balance. I mark out if there's a manipulation of that. And then I start looking inside. I start looking at what some people refer to as the fluff, or whatever interterm liquidity within that range, like what builds up on what side. And sometimes it'll tip its hand, it'll show. Other times it does not. So just looking at this past Friday, we did have basically a run outside of this the initial balance long. So I just marked this as my manipulation leg. I will say this, quick point of fact, and then I always like to say, don't believe me. Don't believe a word I say. Just go look and test. But obviously, this is going to be a target at some point. Go into your charts and just look. At some point, this is going to get run out. And it's you're either going to get a wick, literally a wick through, and it'll get respected, or it'll be a body closure. It just depends on the price action that precedes that run. But anytime you find basically your initial balance run out, buy or sell side, whatever initiates that turnaround or that high or that low, if it doesn't get run again, just mark it. And then just, you could back test it and study, and, feel free. Come back and let me know what you think about it or what you see. So again, once I saw this run out, we had a closure back inside. Because of the weekly profile, I'm looking for Friday's price to pull back some. And based on that weekly profile, or, well, yeah, I could say from the weekly profile, based on the daily and how price had delivered, ultimately, and also why I said you're kind of moving into what I would look at as a bearish order block. We're likely not necessarily going to run this again. Just based on how I'm looking at it, I don't think we're coming back up here. I think ultimately we'll run out the sell side from Friday. But I think that there are going to be a couple of things that are going to happen. I honestly think that depending on how we open tomorrow, I think we may see maybe an initial short, but we'll probably see price pop back up here. Where's my handy dandy path tool? Maybe I'll do a little bit better with the maybe I'll do better. So I don't want to give you one or two scenarios. I will actually give you what I think, just based on how we basically came back into this initial balance and then the sell off, and then this basically the accumulation before. I think we might get a little move down first, maybe a closure somewhere in here, and I think we're going to see price come back up. I don't think we're going to run out the buy side again, but I do think that we'll probably come back in here somewhere, and eventually from here we're going to drop. Just my thought. So I would be looking, I'll just move this up here like that to make this a little bit more congruent than and I'll do that just to make this look like a normal path tool. Maybe something like that, loosely. But that's basically what I would be looking at or for Sunday open or Globex session. So I'd be looking for something like that. Let's go to just a clean chart. And we'll go up to a 4-hour. And I like to look at the 4-hour for basically those 6 a.m. candles, because it's a solid intraday foundation that, especially if you want to go down to a lower time frame, it'll give you quite a bit of a range. So here is, excuse me, Fridays. Four-hour. And realistically, we can just go back one day, and this would have been Thursday, right? So that's 2. These kinds of things I don't mind doing in real time. So, based on the analysis I just gave you on my other chart that's completely full, I would essentially be suggesting that this is going to remain some type of a protected high, and any opening price from Globex is probably just going to retrace, maybe if even half of this 2 p.m. candle, or maybe 2/3 of it, and we'll see it close back. I don't know. I'm still gonna stay and stick with my my short bias, but I always like to refer back and look back to 4 hour. That was probably one of the things that gave me foundation in terms of being able to kind of stick with a trade plan, because it gave me a defined range that I could look at what price was doing within that defined range. And it also allowed me to look at, obviously, from a fractal perspective, I could go all the way to a 5 minute. And if I wasn't doing anything else other than charting and looking to take trades and whatnot, I could literally just get locked in, and I never really had to go back up because I could see it from a 5 minute. So if you're having, just again, small suggestion, if you're having problems seeing price, or being able to understand what the range is or whatnot, the 4 hour is a good place to start. I will also, well, maybe not today, because we're already at like 40 minutes, so I don't want to run you people. I don't want to run you people out. I don't want to run you out. So daily. Okay, so many things I want to, I just want to randomly talk to you guys about, but I honestly think that it will take longer than a couple of minutes. But I'm going to anyway. We're gonna try. So Friday six. This is Friday's 4 hour 6 a.m. candle. Okay. I believe this one. Yeah, this was Thursday's. Right. This is Wednesday's. So here's just a quick thing. It's just quick. Okay. I'm gonna make this yellow. And maybe, as I always like to say, maybe this will help somebody, maybe it won't. However, here's something else. So if you're not looking at price from like a weekly perspective or a weekly profile, and this is something that helped me, honestly, before I really understood that I was looking at a weekly profile, even though I was going from one day to the next day to the next day looking at a 6 a.m. 4 hour candle, until something said there has to be has to be a better way. Like, once I got the range idea and liquidity and mitigation occurring within the specific range, once I got that figured out, then other things started opening up. So if you have a good enough idea about how price books and what structure develops out of it, if you look at this, right, and let's just imagine you're back on Wednesday, or not even that. Let's just imagine we're on like a 5 minute time frame, right? And I say that because you can maybe practice this, and you could see it fractally, even though we're on a 4-hour time frame. So if you just imagine we're on a 5-minute, right? And this is your buy side, this is your sell side, right? And you're looking for what's going to break and what can you target. Well, here's your break. You could say, well, this is my break of structure. You're looking for a high to form, right? So here's your break of structure. There's your high, okay? And forgive me for simplifying this, but I'm just going to. So forgive me, but I hope it'll help. Somebody, this is going to help. Whenever price goes up, if I'm looking for shorts, I want to see price go long. And in this scenario, I'm looking at a defined range, and price has gone up. And not only has it gone up, it's made a high after this candle. So I'm looking to see, okay, where are you going? So this is a high. Price comes back inside. It comes back inside this range, right? Closes, opens, mitigates, closes. Okay. Then we don't get a continuation. We get a bullish, we get another bullish, we get another bullish, and now we're out, right? And we close up here. But we've done something. We've created a high, and now this is a low. And now, after this week, after Friday, we now have a higher high. So from a structural standpoint, you potentially have the makings for a short, because you've had bullish price action. You have an established high, because obviously this candle body wick lower than this one, this candle body wick lower, right? So it could be a perceived high, but it's actually a high. So what we're waiting for, what you could be waiting for, is price to not just come back down. You want another closure inside. And not only do you want a closure inside, you might want the closure below this low. Because now what you'll have is going to be a market structure shift. Changing state of delivery or market structure shift. Absolutely. Yes. So, and you're absolutely right, Mr. Cage, because this is going to give you a higher probability of reaching this 4-hour candle sell side liquidity. It's a higher probability. It's not 100% probability, but you could. And again, it depends on your risk appetite. It depends on a lot of things. It depends on, your trade plan. You may find something that occurs up here, right? And we don't know in terms of that time price aspect. If something does occur here, that gives you a little bit more probability to maybe enter a trade in this area once you get a closure back inside, and determine this is going to be below that low based on that move. So again, just like I said, it's something that helped me, but I know a lot of people probably wouldn't do what I'm about to tell you I did, but I spent 2 months and I didn't push a button, and I wasn't in like a combine or a live account. I had a paper trade account. I still obviously with Trading View, but I didn't push a button for 2 months. Had some vacation time, and literally, my wife thought I was crazy. I'd get up in the morning, I'd come sit over here. I'd either sit in my sim racing chair, and I'd turn my monitor. I'd move the big monitor that I used to race with, and I'd put another monitor up here, and I'd literally sit and I'd watch price. And I got to the point where I started just watching the 6 a.m. 4 hour candle. But before that, I would just watch how price booked, and then I would journal it, or I would take pictures and snapshot it and then just start comparing. So, complete nerd. Like somebody else would be like, "You did that on a vacation? Like what the hell? Like you have no life." So, but yeah, that's my I can't call it a public service announcement. That is one of my good deeds. Hopefully, I've had a couple, but that's my good deed for the day. Yeah. So that, in a nutshell, will do it for today. Mr. Cage, what asset or instrument you trade? Just NQ, MNQ? I think it was MNQ you were looking at, right? It is. Yes. I when I was making the channel, I was like, do I come up with like a pseudo name? And I just said, nah, no. I've always I've always had like a certain creed in life, and because I have a son, I used to say it before, I was a dad. But whenever somebody would look at me, I go into a job or I be in a work environment, and like coworkers would find out like what my name was. They'd look at my name and they go, same kind of question, be like, is that? And I say yes. But I would always tell like, the higher ups or supervisors or whomever, um, they would say something like, oh, I'm trying to think of one of the ones that they would look at it and they would say, "Oh, well, have you ever?" Oh, that's what it was. Like during like an interview process, they would say, "Well, have you ever, had any kind of misgivings, or like they ask you the direct way of like, have you ever, stolen or any difficulties?" I would always tell them, because it's true, right? I would say, "No, I haven't. There's no impropriety." And I say, it would be like, I'm not in a position, and I always make it lighthearted but true. I would always say, I'm not really in a position to do those types of things. And I had one person, I can't remember how old I was, but I had one interviewer say, "Well, why not?" I said, "Did you look at my name on the application?" Like the application that's in front of you. Did you see the name? And then I would tell them the one thing that is 100% true. I can't, because at that time I was like, I can't because I'm the only one. I'm Before my son, I'm the only one in the world with that name. So I would make a joke out of it and say, I can't I can't do anything. I can't do anything because, unlike other people, police, investigative, detective go to the house and say, "Well, Mr. Johnson, were you at such and such?" They could deny it. They could say, "But no, absolutely not. You got the wrong Johnson." I can't do that. They show up at my house and say, "Are you Jeremy LaRochester?" Yes. We have reason to believe. The only thing I could say is, what time? What time was that? I know I've been home, so. But if they show up and they say, "Hey, such and such happened. Your name, Jeremy LaRochester," I would literally have to just turn around. If I know, I know. Just tell my wife, "Hey, listen, I love you. I gotta go." Be like, "Are you gonna fight it?" I can't. It's me. It's just me. So yeah, I don't try to hide. So yeah, so your MNQ, like literally, it's the same, Mr. Cage. It's literally gonna be the same. And literally all the way down to like all of the price action, but obviously from excuse me, from a micro perspective. But yeah, that's something that you can just go back test it and look and check for yourself. But I think that depending on what you find when you look, um, you may find other clues that'll also help you with direction. Blew so many accounts trading NQ regular contract. Um, yeah. Well, and that's one of the reasons why, man, you've got me thinking now. Um, I think for futures, and this isn't shade, and this isn't any kind of adulation for myself or anything, but I think I've torched six, five or six. I'm just gonna defer to the latter because there's no like if you five or six, six. That one that you don't think yeah, six. But yeah, I think yeah, I've at least torched six. And after that last one, I literally just said to myself, I said, look, I'm not doing it. And it's for that reason. Um, I started, and what's crazy, the last one that I blew, I was trading ES. I was trading mini S&P. And yeah, man, you said that you literally you took me back. Um because me looking at that now, I can go, wow, there was so much wrong. And these are one of the reasons why I like doing these, because even a video somebody could type it out and then it makes you think, but it should always be ever present and something to learn from. Because yeah, I started trading ES, but like I said, so many things wrong. I was trading ES, but I was also trading it during London session without the pretense of the day before in Asia. So I was like, don't ask me what I was thinking, because I don't like, now I can go back and I can say I don't know what the hell I was like. No, no, you're trading the manipulation like that's the actual move, and then you get the actual move and then you lose. But yeah, I was trading ES, and I was torching that account, and for the life of me, you would think it, and I don't know, every people have differing opinions, but it seemed to me like going from ES to NQ, for whatever reason that I was thinking of, was the better option. But I guess you could say NQ kind of made it painless, because I'd have to go back. I'm pretty sure I still have like the data from that, and this is from about, it's almost 2 years ago. But I want to say that it was kind of quick and painless, because I think by the time I moved to NQ, I think the account was literally like, I was barbecue chicken in about a week. Cause still NQ. When am I trading? London barbecue chicken. So the market ate well off of me with all of the fixings and the sides. I'm in Florida and I don't, participate in like the sweet tea, the diabetic sweet tea down here. But Yeah, all the fixings and grandma's homemade iced tea. Somebody's watching from the South. Anybody is like, yeah, it's an interesting time for you to ask this question. Anybody watching from Florida by chance? So, Mr. Cage, again, not necessarily feeding or you know helping you find the narrative, but if you look at this, and this is just, like I said, it's just a generic idea, okay? It's just an idea. You could look at something like this as a internal to external range. This could be your external, and while this is internal, because this is its own range, you'd look at this as internal because you'd want, basically, the objective would be, you want to clear this, right? I always look at lows that form in areas of fair value as targets, one, for a profit level if you're looking for shorts. But in this specific case, if, as we were talking about before, if you get a closure back inside, I'm really looking for the sell side to be taken. However, if, as we were talking about before, if you wanted to look at maybe an intermediary target for targets because you're doing MNQ, right? You can basically use a few more micro contracts, right? So again, I'm just throwing this. I have to, forgive me for repeating myself. Like, I just don't want it to seem like I'm telling you. I'm just kind of giving you an idea, something that you could consider. Do it in a practice account, just see how it works. But if you're doing intraday and maybe it takes tomorrow Sunday, we may see movement. It just depends. But I would just say, once you get inside Wednesday 4 hour, how many ever micro contracts, I'm not even going to say, but once you're in, you could consider taking whatever number off when you get here. And then it's up to you. Do you want to keep your risk on parameter, right? Let's just say, I don't know. I'm freewheeling here for a second. Actually, now that I'm looking at this, you probably have some kind of a reaction here. You'll have something that will occur. But ultimately, what you're looking for, I don't want to make it sound like, oh, it's something. We don't know what. Whoop. Sorry about that. You'd want to see something to this effect. And I'm trying to keep my path tool limited because I told you, me and my path tool are like Madden. I have circles and everything else drawn on here. But you're ultimately, like, this is the overall, but it's not, obviously. It's great when it's that clean, but it probably won't be. You're just looking for this bullish fair value to be inverted. So the initial moves may bounce and maybe they consolidate, but at some point, once it clears through, you're just looking for it to invert, which also is going to help support some of your risk management. So to kind of go back to that thought and that idea again, a couple things. Again, I'm just going to throw them out for you. We'll just presume, okay? We'll presume that this maybe is your short-term target or your partial, right? A couple of things is exactly what you had in your head sometimes. I have a hard time actually getting it out in words. Yeah. Well, whatever the vocabulary is that works for you, use that. Use that. I I call base accumulation between major swing points interterm liquidity, because that's what the accumulation is. It's occurring within a framework of time, but it's a subset of that framework of time. I call it interterm liquidity. I don't know if other people call it that. Somebody else calls it. So my point is, whatever terminology helps you understand what you're looking at and what, the short, interterm, and the long term probability of a position or the probability of delivery, whatever that is, use that. I say fair value. A lot of times I don't say fair value gap. I'm not taking away from the establishment. I'm just like to look at certain things, because when I first understood and started and first learned what fair value gaps were, and then the common question that still gets asked to this day is, well, which ones hold and which ones don't? Well, then it's really, what is it really? It is a fair value gap, but it's fair value based upon what? Order flow, price delivery. So it's not a question of which one holds and which one doesn't. It's more a question of where are we going? Like, the order flow is pointing to what? And there's two areas of fair value in between where we are and where it wants to go. So it's probably going to invert, which means what? It's not going to hold. Like, so whatever the terminology is, whatever works for you. What I was going to say to you, I was about to say what I was going to suggest. I'm going to get sued. No. What I was going to say is, in order to just let price tip its hand, let it show you. If you get a closure through, it doesn't necessarily mean immediately because it closed through, okay, it's ready to short. Just, you'd wait and see. But surface level, what you'd be doing is, you could take the short below this area, but be mindful of this area here, because just like in areas of fair value, when you're running out highs and lows, you don't always get a continuation in that direction, and you don't always get a bounce back that's going to retrace. You'll get a reaction. Sometimes, I'll say it this way. Sometimes you'll have, maybe in this case or in this scenario, you may have price that will come through, right? It'll break. It'll reach this threshold that is sell side liquidity, and it will close inside, but sometimes it'll throw you off. And then I would, again, say go back and look at price, because recent price action or historical price action, not through replay. Just look at the price. We'll show you that sometimes it'll stick its head back through a 4-hour level. It'll mitigate a sell side level. And in a case like this, it'll come all the way back up, right? And maybe it'll stick its head back above, because you have to remember the idea again. I don't know what just happened to my ray tool there, or my path tool. You have to always remember that same context. If I want to continue going down, if I want continuous bearish price action, unless I'm at a specific level, I need buys. I need to see bullish price action for shorts, unless you're at a particular level or you're within a specific price range that's already shown you from a high, a low, and a higher high that's going to close back inside and close through a low in fair value, that the order flow may no longer be bullish. It's now going to be favorable and probable for the direction that you're looking for it to deliver. So the longs to shorts to intermediary, longs back to another intermediary, or short-term short back to your target. Like, you have to, you'll find it. You'll get it. You'll get it. But it's a journey that obviously you have to enjoy. If you have the time to spend and devote to it, I mean, I think everybody can agree, like, the financial, reward of it is more or less what draws us. But when you get like I would say you get the weirdos like me that actually just enjoys, sitting around and watching price and, kind of going back and you try to refine or just look at your trading plan, not so much to see what you're missing so that you can capitalize more, but just how you could be a little bit more in tune with the assets that you trade, and, maybe some of the nuances that occur with that one particular instrument over maybe another. So, but yeah, that's my 2 cents on that. And like I said, it's recent. It's something that you could look at and see if that works out for you. So with that, I think we're gonna wrap up here. It's about 11 o'clock. All right, I appreciate that, Mr. Cage. Thank you. And listen, I enjoyed you and your feedback. So yeah, anytime, even if there's a comment, like I like to pride myself on something my dad said like a long time ago, which is just there's a certain amount of integrity. So if there's a question and I know the answer, I'll answer it. If I don't know, I'm going to tell you I don't know. In some cases, if it's out there, I'm going to be like, I have no fucking idea. I'll do the best that I can to find it if I can. And I'll say, hey, look, I went and looked, or, whatever it was, I didn't find it. But yeah, I just believe in full transparency. But any way I could help, I'm more than willing to. And as for right now, I think schedule wise, I'll be set up for, let's see. I think I'm actually set up to stream tomorrow's Globex Open. Yeah. So yeah, I'll be live tomorrow. Um, I'm trying to think because there's a part of me that thinks that, well, no, not next, no, not this week coming up, the following week, because I think you have, um, is it option contract expiry? Is that next? I know usually like the last week in the month, and I don't. Again, that's why I said transparent. I don't know that that always has a a reaction on the markets. I think that it does because the expiring contracts are sometimes related to um, instruments like Nasdaq and the S&P. It just depends because it's not like, options is relegated or limited to like one specific asset class, but like I said, not this coming week, the following week may price action may be like a little skittish, like extremely slow. So I'll try to jump on maybe a couple minutes before we get to the open tomorrow. And to be honest, I don't know how long I'll go. Maybe a few hours just to see. That was this Friday? Okay. Oh, I got you. Thank you. Thank you. Well, see, now I know who to refer people to when they're at, if I ever get those questions. Awesome. All right, Mr. Cage. So I will maybe I'll see you potentially tomorrow, and yeah, I'll be back on. I would say probably about 5:50 tomorrow, and at best minimum maybe up to 9, maybe 3 hours is a little bit of a stretch, but just don't know what the open will be, and we'll see if maybe how I'm looking or reading price, see if that begins to play out or not. And then if it doesn't, you know, maybe look at what the backup plan or the next plan, not a backup, but to see what alternatives I'll have to look at for another potentially high probability position maybe on Monday. So we'll go from there. But I appreciate you guys. I appreciate everybody that tuned in today. Thank you very much, Mr. Cage. Thank you for subbing. Like I said, hanging out, liquidated. I appreciate you, and everybody else that tuned in. So I'll see you guys hopefully tomorrow. You take care and enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Thank you.